If the source of parental obligation to children was contract, then parents would only have moral obligations to care for their children if they agreed to do so. That is, if they implicitly or explicitly signed the contract that said, I will be morally obligated for this child. Okay? So again, this source of parental obligation to children would make room, it would allow for same sex couples, same sex married couples, to have moral obligations to their children, because all that two men or two women have to do to have moral obligations to children is to sign a contract saying, I will care for this child. Since they cannot have a natural biological relationship or connection to a child being of the same sex, the only way for them to have a relationship to a child and moral obligations to that child is based on a contract. Now, the problem with this, according to Gallagher, is that by saying that parental obligations are dependent on a contract, we are essentially giving parents a way out of being morally responsible for their children. In other words, if we accept that a contract is the source of parental obligation and not biology, then if I do not wish to care for my child, I simply do not have to sign the contract, right? If I do not agree to take on the moral responsibilities of caring for a child, then according to the contract view, I'm not morally obligated to my child, even if it's biologically related to me. So again, she sees this as a negative implication of accepting the relationship view and the contract view of parental obligation to children. Perhaps the most concerning feature of accepting this contract view, according to Gallagher, is that fathers would become even more absent than they already are. It is a ongoing phenomena that fathers will abandon or leave their children and the mothers of those children, and very often mothers, more so than fathers, are left to be a single parent. If we accept the contract view of parental obligations, that problem of absent fathers will become worse, Gallagher is arguing, because all that a father would have to do to get out of his obligation to his child is to say, nope, I don't want to sign the contract. I do not agree to be morally responsible for that child. And then they are not morally responsible any longer. So that would be an even bigger problem than it already is. And again, it's a negative implication that Gallagher wants us to think about before we go ahead and accept the relationship view and thereby the contract view of parental obligations.